in the assignment, I'm kind of just going to explain a little bit what we're doing. So your learning goals for today, what you guys will be able to do when we do this assignment. You will investigate different techniques used to gain women's suffrage. You'll be able to compare the techniques to one another and then argue which one was the most significant. And then you will be able to compare and contrast the women's movement we see back then to what we see today. So we're going to be taking a look at how women fought to gain the right to vote. So do you guys all have the worksheet and the site up? Okay, and taking your silence as a yes. So on the worksheet, there's a spot for your name, and I know it looks like a lot. It's not. So we're going to do this first box together. And then after we do the first box together, I'm going to put you guys in groups, and you and your group are only going to do 3 other strategies. So you can pick any, but you're only doing 3. You're not going to be doing all 8 of them. So we'll do 1 together, and you'll have to do 3 more, and whichever ones you pick, that's what you're going to write under your strategies right here. Okay? So are you guys still with me? Okay. So we're going to go to the website now, and the first strategy that we're going to do together as a class, I'm going to kind of go through quickly to give you guys more time to work, but I just want you to see how to use the website and what to do. So we're looking for a description of the strategy, and I don't just want street speaking or speaking in the street. I want like 2 to 3 bullet points or sentences explaining the strategy more so. The goal of the strategy, again, I don't want women's suffrage. No, I want who they were targeting, why they were street speaking. And then evidence that the strategy was effective or not effective. And this is based on what you see on the website. So after looking at the website, do we think it was effective or not? And it's kind of your own opinion. So like I said, we'll do this first one together, street speaking. So all of these boxes, if you hover over them, it says what they are. So I'm going to click on street speaking. And it'll take me to the first page. And basically once you guys get here, sorry, I have 2 chats. Okay. So when you get to the page, all these little dots are a different page. None of them are super long. So you can either click on the dots to move, or you can click on your arrows on your keyboard. Either one works. So the first page says challenging ideas about proper behavior for women. Suffragists are the women who are fighting for that right to vote. So suffragists took to the streets and began speaking to crowds of men. They said, "We have ceased to put much energy into discussing the pros and cons of democracy with doubting women in the chimney corners, and have instead gone out on the street corner to appeal to men, the voters." So they're going out to talk so that they can appeal to men, because the men are the people voting. The men are the people who get to make this decision. So they want to appeal to these men because they are the decision makers. So they said to prepare, they went to speech-making boot camps where they learned how to talk to crowds. The women shocked their audiences and at first themselves. So they literally trained to give these speeches. Here we see, it was the first day out which tried our very souls and tested our courage, and which will always stay in my mind as an ordeal compared to which a fiery furnace seemed a pleasant alternative. Never shall I forget the feeling of terror that overcame me at our first street meeting. Not one of us had ever made a street speech in our lives. So this was something totally new to them. They weren't, they didn't go give speeches. So they were so nervous and so scared when they did this. But guys, that's how brave they were. They wanted to do this because that's how much they believed in, themselves and their right to vote. So then here's a picture of one of these speeches, and we see a ton of men in the crowd. It looks like they're all looking at her and paying attention. It says, standing on soapboxes or from the backs of cars, the most skilled suffrage orators held the attention of huge audiences. So the best, suffrage speakers would just go in the streets, stand on a box or a car, and just give their speech to all the men and all the people who are in the streets. "The car is your stand, darling," said Mabel Vernon. It says suffragists transformed themselves into veteran public speakers who eloquently made the case for their cause. So we're going to go back to our worksheet, and it says description of the strategy. So again, I don't want speaking in the street. So what I would write here, and you guys can write this on yours too, so you can have an idea of what to do when you start doing it on your own. I would say went out into the streets, standing on boxes or cars, gave speeches. Sorry, my keyboard kind of lags when I share my screen. And I would say went to speech boot camps to become great public speakers. And you guys can write sentences or bullet points, I don't care. So when we get to goal of the strategy, I would say, again, not just the right to vote, I would say to appeal to men, the voters. To appeal to men, the voters, that they should be able to vote. So again, who are they targeting? Why did they specifically choose this strategy? To appeal to men. And then was the strategy effective or not? Again, this is your opinion based on what we just saw. So personally, I would say yes, it was effective. So again, remember we saw this picture, and it looks like she's keeping the attention of her crowd. It looks like it's a big crowd. They're all paying attention to her. And then it said, forgot where it said, they held the attention of huge audiences. So, using my evidence, I would say held attention of huge audiences. Pictures show big crowd of people listening to them. So that's all you guys are doing. And I'm going to put you guys in breakout rooms. And you and your group can choose 3 more. Okay, so 3 additional boxes that you're going to investigate yourselves with your groups. So any of these 3, it does not matter which, and then just write whatever 3 you pick up here where it says your strategies. And then this final individual response, so after you and your group finish your boxes, your 3 rows, by yourself, you're going to answer this question. Your answers should be 6 to 8 sentences long. So looking at all the strategies, which do you think was the most effective and why? Any of these, it's your opinion. But which of the ones you looked at do you think was the most effective and why do you think this way? And then, do you think that women are still fighting for equality today? Do you think they use these strategies, or what else do you think they use? So do you still see women using the strategies you looked at, or do you see them doing something else? So I want you guys to compare what you see on this website of women fighting back then to what you see today, and how it looks the same and how it looks different, okay? Do you get that? I know it might be confusing, but just 6 to 8 sentences total, okay, on your answer to those questions. So when you get in your breakout rooms, you're going to pick 3 other strategies, do them with your group, and then this final individual response. And this is going to be due, whatever you don't finish, it's going to be due, let's say Tuesday, so it'll be due Thursday at the start of class, so Thursday at 7:20. Okay? Any questions on what you're doing? Okay, I'm going to put you guys in your breakout rooms. If you guys have any questions or any problems, call me. If anyone on an iPad for some reason can't, dual screen, I'll give you guys the power to share your screen. So if someone's using a laptop, they could share their screen in their group if you guys want. Up to you how you do it. But okay, are you guys good? All right, call me if you need help.